Well, welcome back to Thoughts While Thinking. And these opinions are mine and mine alone and nobody else's. And I would appreciate you subscribing to this because it helped me out and it's not a toxic thing to you. It's pretty benign and so it won't cause any damage to you, I promised. And we're talking about gun control laws. Man, howdy, we got 10, 20 plus thousand gun control laws on the books right now. And we just passed another one, and we're getting ready to pass another one. And, you'd think that they'd catch on when they're passing these things. When they pass one, they got to direct it toward the criminal and not the good guy. But they always target the good guy and leave the criminal alone, and they just seem like they're just happy as they can be by passing these new laws. And they're probably all of them violate the Second Amendment of the Constitution at some point or another in there. I'm pretty much guessing that because it says shall not be infringed on, and any kind of gun control law infringes. So think about that. And if we break one part of the Constitution, we've broken the whole thing, and that's the terrible of it. They have, and this last one they put the red flag law in there, and that red flag law is a pretty wild and dangerous thing because somebody on Facebook or something can complain about you, and all of a sudden here you are. They come and grab your gun without due process, and they take it away from you, no due process, and that's a violation of the Constitution, and it's a violation of the Second Amendment. And I'm thinking it's going to be overturned at some point in time here. But if you pass that gun law, and here's a picture of the criminal before and after you passed the gun law, and there's no difference. The criminal's still just like he was. The only one that's affected is the good guy. And they dress up the rhinos in the left, dress up in the NRA suit, and get on the mass media and talk about how they support the Second Amendment, and then they get behind closed doors and then they vote something in that totally violates it. And that's my thoughts while thinking on that. And this sign here that says it's a gun-free zone, that just opens it up for a criminal to come in. And there's not one case that I could cite where that gun-free area saved anybody's lives. Now I can show you some that where it cost them lives, and they say, well, we got this gun control law. You can't come running with a gun. And the criminal says, I don't care about the law. That's the reason I'm a criminal. How strong is that? And can't you read? Well, I don't care about that because I don't care. I'm a criminal, and I'm going to violate the law because that's what I do. And if you're in one of these got free gun zones and you have an emergency, you can call 911, or you can crawl to the nearest exit, and if help don't come right away, then you can kiss your defenseless butt goodbye because that's the way it is. Oh, these gun-free zones, they don't help none. And, the propagandists, they just on us all the time, and they're attacking the Texas constitutional carry law. And they're blaming that big mass shooting and killing on that Texas law. But it was not the Texas law, and not the constitutional carry. It is the criminal. That's who it is. That's who did the shooting. And the good guys wasn't in there shooting, and but the bad guys were. And so let's direct this to the bad guys. And they try to get you emotionally involved in this thing to where you're not really thinking about your thinking. You're thinking with your emotions, and and that's what they do. It's like Obama was saying in those gun control laws he tried to get passed. He said, "I just want another Sandy Hook." Oh well, none of us want another Sandy Hook, or none of us want another Texas shooting in schools or nothing. We just don't want that. And the attacking that AR-15. Well, that it's not AR. Don't stand for assault weapon. AR is the 15 is the name of the company that made the rifle. It's 50 or 60 years old. The only thing lately is they've dressed it up. They've improved the stock. They've improved the pistol grip and barrel cover and stuff, and make it look dangerous and awful. And that's what it is. But it's still that semi-automatic. It's a full semi-automatic, and it's not an automatic like they're trying to let you believe. It's just the same old gun it was 60 years ago, and it didn't cause any trouble 60 years ago. And these Democrats and the left say, well, we need to pass another gun law because we got to prevent these shootings. And the Republican, he sits there and he says, yeah, like probation. And then they get behind closed doors, they rub one another's back, and so they pass another unconstitutional gun law that's directed to the good guys and leaving the bad guys out of it. And they say the public are saying, well, it's not working. We're still having these shootings, and they say, well, we'll keep doing it until we get it right. Well, they've got to address the criminal to get it right. Now think about that. I'm just telling you. And they got the propaganda machine out there talking about how easy it is to buy a gun. Well, evidently you hadn't tried to buy one here lately, particularly here in Texas. It's not easy to buy a gun, but they're showing you this bad guy that's got this record and stuff going past his deal and getting a gun, and he's got killing on his mind, and he's gonna go out the door and he's gonna start shooting up and killing people, and that's just not the way it is. But that's the way that they want to tell you it is. And you look back at history about gun control. Hitler and Stalin had all kinds of good gun control. Finally, they got it to where only the military had guns. And you know what happened then? Well, we don't want that happening here. And, back on that Navy Yard shooting a few years ago, they said we need to ban guns. And then she's looking at that, and it's all about these gory movies and videotapes and stuff of how guys got one of those machine guns, and he's shooting and killing 100 people at one swipe, and the blood's running out, everything. And we talk about how good a movie it is and how good a video it was, and then we talk about passing gun laws. And the guy says, he said, I'm a criminal. I don't pay attention to these gun laws. And they don't. The criminals don't pay attention to the gun laws. If they did, they wouldn't be criminals. And, they say when they're looking at that Texas shooting, they're saying, well, the nation's borrowing on this, and we need to ban guns. And, the old bartender, he's got it right. He just says, like we did the probation and, or the war on drugs right now. That's how they're working, and that's how those gun control laws work. And, they're trying to tell you in that mass media that these smart guns that we got now are organizing, and they're conspiring to take over the United States and eventually the world. And they're leaving all the humans out. It's just going to be those smart guns that's doing all that. Now think about that for a little bit and let's see how that fits in your craw. Oh, and they tell you how easy it is in the culture of the United States for everybody to get guns. Well, the good guys, it goes through a process, and it's hard to get a gun. Now, the other bad guys, they've got all kinds of sources. Some of them get it legally and some of them illegally. And some of them buy them and some of them steal them. But they go and get the guns because that's what they do. And back again, flashing back, when they had that Navy Yard that would had no guns in it, well, we'll just pass another law. Well, you, you know, these laws are just directing the right kind of people. They're directing the gun instead of the people. And this little gal here, she's got it right. And these gun laws are kind of like this one here. That's reduce drunk driving by taking the cars away from the sober drivers. Now think about that, because that's what their gun laws are doing. That's what the infringement of the Second Amendment's doing. And they just have all these laws locked up in a safe, and they got them working, and the criminals are just enjoying it and making the heist and taking it on the run, and the crime keeps rolling. And the people crushed by the laws have no hope but to evade power. And the laws are the enemies, and their enemies will be the law, and they'll have to violate the law. Now think about that, because we got a lot of these laws that are just crushing us, and they're unconstitutional, and so we got to think about what we're going to do about that. And Aesop said, we hang the petty thieves, and then we appoint the great ones to a public office. Well, look at Congress. They're the great ones, and they're in the public office, and they got their feet in the swamp, and they're just bending over backwards to take all your rights away from you on a daily basis. And maybe we need to sit back and relax and be patient, because if old Napoleon is right, you never interrupt an enemy when he's making a mistake. Well, I think the extreme left has been making a pretty big mistake here lately, and I think they threw a cockleburr under that saddle blanket on that old freedom horse, and he's beginning to buck up and take issue with all this stuff. And John Wayne says, I'd like to know how well-educated idiots keep apologizing for the lazy and complaining and whining people like the world owes them a living. Well, think about that, and that's what the masses of the colleges and the universities are teaching and letting known is they're apologizing for all of that stuff. And common sense is kind of like a curse, he says, because you have to live in a world of people that doesn't have any common sense, and that's a issue that we've got right now. And that's my thoughts while thinking. As adios amigo, and we'll see you on the flip side. And we thank for watching, and we'll see you later. And don't forget to like the video, and we appreciate all that, and have a happy and good one.